Hello, welcome, gorgeous beings of light. My name is Omara. Welcome to the 100 Miracles in 100 Days project and the Effortless Manifesting and Awareness Activation Quickie. Taking a big breath in. Filling yourself up with life-giving chi. Holding it for as long as it's comfortable. Before letting it out. With a big sigh. And when you can feel that your energy is suitably within you, you can return your breath to in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. You can always tell when these are going to be powerful. You get interference from all sorts of places. Turkey just landed on the tin roof of my garage and started banging and crashing around. So I had planned for this to be a quickie, but goodness knows what's going to happen now, because when the energy is that powerful, all sorts of stuff can happen. So let's just continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, unless you're releasing, in which case you breathe out through your mouth. And if at any point you feel stuff coming up, then just let it out. Especially if you start yawning, don't put your hand over your mouth, let that stuff come out of you. When you yawn, you're releasing grief. And so I'm not putting sadness or whatever into you. I'm just so powerful that I can bring your poop to the surface in seconds. So just breathe through it. This is this extraordinary opportunity for you to just breathe and let go of everything that's been holding you back. As we begin, we're going to do a quickie awareness activation this morning. So just bring your awareness into your body and everything to do with your body, and toss it out the window or out the door and breathe. See if you can send yourself lighter without all that stories about what you look like, all the stuff you've got going on in your body, or your aches and pains. All just toss them out the window or out the door. You can pick them up later if you wish. And breathe. And now bring your awareness into your identity, your name, address, phone number, house, car you have, kids, cats, dogs, pets, family, qualifications, occupation, university degrees. Throw all those out the window or out the door as well and breathe. Sometimes I feel people flinching when I say that. You're not tossing it away forever, you're just putting it aside, because they're all the things that you have been trained to tell you that are important, but you're still not happy or you're still not connected. I'm trying to show you that underneath all that stuff that you've been told is what's important or what makes you is something so profoundly brilliant and bright and shining that's you, and that you can manifest anything you want by just connecting to the light of who you are. So just put it aside for a little while. When you finish this activation, you can pick it up again and go about your daily work. Next, we want to bring your awareness into your emotions, your feelings, and your opinions, and toss all those out the window or out the door and breathe. And if you're new to this today, this may not be making sense. Please go back to day 1 in early December and do the full activation. But lots of people have been following it for 30 days now, and they're just stepping into that awareness. So we don't want to bore them to tears. And you can just go back and listen to the first day and it'll all make sense for you. And now bring your awareness now, please, into your mind, into all of your thoughts, your conscious mind, your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind, and toss all those out the window or out the door and breathe, please. Beautiful. Feel yourself lightening up. And if you don't feel yourself lightening up, that just means that, you know, you've got a little bit of density to get through, but it also doesn't mean that something truly powerful isn't happening for you. Just breathe. And I would recommend going back and doing the very first activation. Full activation. It's a full activation. It takes 25 minutes to get through this in the very first one. And now, bring your awareness into your beautiful heart. And we want you to seek out or ask your heart to bring forth all of the heartache and heartbreak that you have stored deep within your heart. And bring your awareness into the wall that you've put around your heart so that nobody will hurt you, which we all know doesn't work, but we think it might. And toss it out the window or out the door and breathe. The problem with heart walls are they don't stop the hurt getting in. They just magnify it really, because all of the love that's in your heart can't get out. And just breathe after you toss all of that heartbreak, heartache, and heart wall out the window or out the door. See if you can't sense a whole pile of love waking up in those 100 trillion cells and your 100 trillion telomeres. And breathe. Just breathe. And now we're going to take our awareness into our being, into our entire being, and ask that anything and everything that's out of alignment with the infinite wealth and abundance that exists in every one of your 100 trillion cells, that you and it could even be in your DNA, because some of this stuff goes back lifetimes. We're going to seek and find, gather and bind everything that's out of alignment with the infinite wealth and infinite abundance that exists at the very core of you, and toss it all out the window or out the door. And breathe. We are looking for all struggle, all poverty consciousness, all lack and limitation. All of that's got to go out the window. Let it go. It's not yours. picked it up from someone else. At the core of who you are infinitely abundant, wealthy, and that's not just in money, that's in infinite joy, infinite bliss, infinite peace. Toss all that out the window. Everything is out of alignment with the infinite wealth and abundance of who you truly are. Toss it out the window, out the door, and breathe. Just breathe into that. Breathe into your awareness. Breathe into your 100 trillion cells and your 100 trillion telomeres. This is who you really are. 99.39% of you is infinite wealth and joy and bliss. And you're connected to all time and space, all dimensions of light, all universes, galaxies, star systems, the whole entire universe that you can't even fathom exists within you, within the cells of your being. But we put 99% of energy into that less than 1% and go about trying to struggle through life when you could just connect into this infinite part of who you are and let it sort it out for you. It's the God source within you, the divine I am presence, your supreme intelligence, your universal oneness, whatever name you want to call the God, goddess that dwells within you. This is it. Bring yourself into this awareness every day. Let this be your guiding light in your life. And see what begins to show up with you when you're connected to the infinite abundance of the entire universe. That's why you see people who consistently do my work, who've gone from struggle to having abundance flowing into their life. The struggle just goes out of their life, and it continues to go out of their life, and stuff just continues to show up for them. Just breathe. Just breathe. I want you to continue to breathe as I talk to you today about miracle number 30. Just breathe and release if anything comes up. But otherwise, just breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. And allow your frequency to be raised up into the magnificence of who you truly are. Breathe. So today I want to share the miracle of my beautiful, beautiful old cat, Fat Black. He lived to be about 22 years old. He was the only cat he was my first pet of my own after I'd left home. He was a black kitten. I got him from one of the ladies at work who's the mother of the cat lived to be about the same age as well. So it came from good breeding. When Fat Black was 13 years old, he was given weeks to live. He was a black cat with one white hair on his chest, pure black. He wasn't really a cuddly cat. I can remember him climbing up into my lap for a cuddle maybe 5 times in those 22 years. But he always bashed up at the back of your legs in the morning. And he was a big cat. He was like 8 to 10 kilos. He was such a smoocher. He would just go smooching to the other people in the block of 4 units I lived in. One of them didn't like him going over there, but the other 2 welcomed them into his home, and he would steal food off them. I couldn't work out why he was getting so fat, but that was the reason. So anyway, when he was 13 years old, they gave him a few weeks to live because he had kidney failure. I was devastated, of course. And somebody said to me, take him to this homeopathic vet, which I did. And this woman said, take him off all dry food. And it's the dry food that causes the problem. Take him off all dry food and make up this food, which was really simple. You just cooked up a cup of rice While it was warming down, you added a tablespoon of olive oil and a crushed clove of garlic or two. And then chop up all the old veggies that you've got and chuck that in there. And then chuck in a kilo of raw meat, so whether it be roux, beef, whatever, chicken, and mix it all up. And that's it. That's what they get. And she said they will turn their nose up at it the first few days because they're used to all the chemicals, like people get addicted to McDonald's. The cats get addicted to the chemicals in the food that you give them. And but as soon as they're hungry, they'll eat it. And that's exactly what happened. They didn't eat for 2 days, and then they began scoffing. And when I would be in the kitchen on the weekends making it, both of my cats were there just like screaming at me to give them some as it was being cooked. So they loved it. And then I would just bag it up. And because I had 2 cats, I'd just bring down enough. You know, every second day I just brought down a bag. So there was always some defrosting. Within weeks, like 6 weeks, his coat had turned black again. And he lived, as I said, to be 22 years old. Now, he was a beautiful cat, big, beautiful cat. I loved him a lot. When he was about 18, he was limping around. And I remember, this is how you can communicate with your animals when you need to. I remember picking him up and grabbing his face and looking into his eyes and saying to him, "You have been the best friend I've ever asked for. I believe you're my familiar." Familiars are souls that come in the form of an animal to be there to support you. And I believe that he was that. He was my familiar. He was my soulmate. He just happened to be a cat. And I said, you don't need to be here. He'd been with me from about age 20 to 38, some of the toughest years of my life, when I was waking up spiritually and all sorts of stuff was going on and dealing with all my past, etc. I looked him into the eyes and said, you don't have to stay here. If you're done, then you can just go. Just go. I will not, I don't want you to stay here for me if you're in pain. I remember him going, "Row," and kind of like getting mad with me and jumping off me. Next day he wakes up like a bloody little kitten again, running around, no limping, nothing. So that's the way you can heal your animals, is by looking into their eyes, by the way. And then he lived another 4 years after that, and we never found his body. At 22, when he was around 22 years old, I got a message from Source that he would be gone in 2. And I thought they meant 2 weeks, 2 months. So I went out and bought his favourite things like Sara Lee vanilla ice cream and chicken wings. That's the other thing I would give my cats, is every, once a week I would give them fresh chicken wings, because the chewing of that, not cooked but raw, it cleans their teeth, etc., etc. So I got chicken wings for him, got all that. And he was gone in 2 days. He was gone. I never saw him again. I saw him go outside and off the veranda, and I never ever saw him again. Never found his body, never found any smell. I was doing a workshop on the weekend, so I'd seen him Saturday morning. I had someone staying with me, so it wasn't until Sunday night that I recognised he was missing, and I realised that Source had said he'd be gone in 2, and they meant 2 days, not 2 months or 2 weeks. And there was a lady who used to get off the bus when I got off. The bus used to pull up right opposite where I lived. My cats would come running and stand there and wait for me to cross the road when I got home from work. And there was this woman who said to me, "I never wanted a cat. I've always been a dog person, but I would love to have a cat like yours." So I don't think she took him. He was 22 years old, and Spirit said he'd be gone in two. I think he ascended to cat heaven. We never found his body. He'd never been run over or anything like that. He was just gone. And it's distressing when you don't find a body. But 2 days later, so I lived in a house that had like a great sort of like door, and you could open that door. You could leave that then stepped onto a little porch, and there the door was locked, but you could lock that great door. So I locked it, but left the door open in case he came home on Sunday and Monday. And Monday night, I knew in my heart he was gone, and so I shut the door and shut the big door. And at 5 o'clock in the morning, I heard him come bounding into the house. And I remember jumping out of bed and rounding out, going, he's home. But as I'm rounding the corner, I went, but the door shut. And it was at that point that I recognized that he was in spirit, and he realized, and I just heard spirit say, he doesn't have to wait for you to open the door now. So, or he doesn't have to, he can get through the door without you now. And that was my baby. That was Fat Black. He lived to be 22 years old. So I guess I'm telling you this, the miracle is not really a miracle. It makes common sense. When I was a child, our cats and dogs lived to be in their 20s before all this stuff that we're told is good for them and stuff you stick on the back of their neck every month that can't possibly be good for them. And you know that that's not true, because if you use one that's for the wrong size dog, I remember people who used the wrong size one on a little dog and the dog was dead the next day. So just not true that it's not got some kind of poison in it or something that's not good for them. But taking them off all commercial food that's full of chemicals and making your own food for your animals will help them live much longer. It's up to you. Do whatever you want, but also do your own research. There's lots of people doing research now that are finding that dogs don't get, arthritis and all of that stuff and hip dysplasias and all of that when they're on a natural diet that includes, home-cooked pasta and rice and all that sort of stuff. So just do your own research. Well, the miracle is that he was given 2 weeks to live when he was 13, and he went on to live for another 8 years, which is kind of like almost more than a third of his life longer than he was given by the vet. So empower yourself with knowledge. I've never taken any of my animals to the vet since then. I get rescue animals. I don't take them to vets. I heal them myself. And if you give them good food and they live in a loving environment, stuff just doesn't happen to them. My cats are indoor cats now, so they can't really get up to too much mischief outside. You will find if you put garlic and olive oil in the food, the olive oil is really good for their keeping things flowing through them and for them having a shiny coat, and the garlic keeps the fleas and everything else away. I also, when I had Jack, would use a drop of geranium oil, proper essential oil of geranium on the back of his neck, and that kept all the ticks and fleas away. And I saved him 3 times by putting a drop of lemongrass on the tick that was on him, and it just never even had to go to the vet. The tick backed itself out, firstly, killed the tick, backed itself out. One of them that even left their poison because it all turned black, but he still never got any of the stuff that goes on with him. So empower yourself with knowledge and understand that if it's good for you to eat natural things and do natural things, it's good for your pets as well. Breathe. And when someone says they've got this much time to live, don't believe them, Don't necessarily listen to stuff that's told to you. And don't believe when they tell you it's not your diet, because it absolutely has everything to do with all the chemicals you're putting into your body. Stop doing that. Find a way to make natural food, good food, and care for your temple and care for your pets' temples, because a lot of times they are soulmates that come in the form of pets to be with you. Breathe. Just bringing you back into your Awareness now. Toss your body out the window, your identity out the window. Your feelings, emotions, and opinions out the window. Your thoughts, conscious mind, unconscious mind, subconscious mind, out the window. All your heartache, heartbreak, and heart walls out the window. And then everything that's out of alignment with the infinite abundance and money and wealth that is yours, divine birthright, toss that out the window too. And if you find yourself moving away from this awareness throughout your day, then just do that as quick as that and breathe. A couple of minutes max. Spend time exploring the magnificence of who you are and what contribution you have for this world. I don't know what happens with the proof that there's no time and space. I was so sure this was going to be a 10-minute activation, and it's coming up for a 26-minute activation. So, oh my God. Oh my God. Sending you so much love. So much love. Obviously, our pets are an important thing to have a little bit more love about, I'm guessing. So, breathe in, activate more of your 99% untapped, pure potential, pure God source that exists within every cell of your being. Every one of those 100 trillion cells is a little God cell inside of it. Love, love, love. And bye for now.